All right. So welcome. I'm Greg Fegley. I'm the director of the 1810 Accelerator. Tonight we're here to do the kickoff event, How I Won the Innovative Idea Competition. And we have our guest speaker with us tonight, Taylor. And so I'll work through these slides quickly so we can get on talking with her. All right. That does not work. Okay, so it's the 24th annual competition. How many of you have entered the competition before? Anybody? Are you? How many? What years are you in? Stop. Okay, all right, good. So this is a great way to get started on your entrepreneurial journey. Whether or not you really want to be an entrepreneur, you're not sure. This is just a great way to dip your toe in the water and see what it's like, what the process is like, and you'll learn a lot through this process. Okay, everybody's got ideas, right? So why not you? And we've taught classes where we encourage students to enter. They thought their ideas were horrible. They entered, and guess what? They ended up winning. So it's worth the try, right? Okay. It's open to anybody in the Temple community. Your ideas, there are some limitations. You have to earn less than $5,000 in other competitions and less than $25,000 in capital. You're under those two limits, you're good. And then also be aware that if you do make it to finals, part of this is you're going to have to pitch your idea live in front of an audience, in front of judges in an audience. And some people have made it to finals and said, yeah, I can't do that. But you can, right? It's all just part of a learning experience. And if you're going to go on and become an entrepreneur, you're going to have to be doing that anyway. So it's good practice, right? Key dates, the submission portal doesn't open until October 1st. So you from now to October 1st to be working on your idea, exploring, doing research, etc. But even then, you don't have to race to enter and put your idea up into the portal. It's really simple. We only ask like 5 or 6 questions, and the answers to those questions only have to be a couple paragraphs long. So it's pretty simple, right? The deadline's the 20th. We'll announce finalists, and then the live pitch is November 18th. There's $7,000 in prizes this year, and while we would encourage you to put the money towards your idea, try to help develop your idea, you don't have to. So if you want to use it for rent, you can do that. You can use it for pizza, you can do that. Okay. There's 2 tracks, an upper track for graduate, faculty, staff, and alumni, and then there's a second track for undergraduates. And then we have 3 other awards that can go to anybody. We have the People's Choice Award, which is just like the crowd favorite that gets voted on. We have the Global Innovation Prize, which is for ideas that have the best potential to go global. And then this year we have a new award, the Digital Innovation Award. So if your idea is related to technology, all right, software, etc., we have a new award with $1,000. So there's the potential for 2 awards. They've guaranteed us they're going to give one out for $1,000. But if there's another high potential team, they might actually get a second award for $1,000, an additional $1,000. You also get special mentoring to move on to one of our other competitions, the Year of Law School. There are resources, and then you get access to the Digital Innovation Foundry Lab, where you work with them over a period of months, and they provide you guidance and technical expertise to help you. There's some criteria. It's got to be digital focused. There's got to be a problem, problem and a practical solution to be solved with technology. Again, the requirements are pretty easy. You get to keep all the intellectual property rights. That's sometimes a concern. Even though you're working with them, you will retain your rights, but you will have to do their digital innovation practice. This is what you're going to submit. These 6 areas, a short elevator pitch is going to talk about the opportunity, what's the opportunity to identify and the problem you're trying to solve. Who are your competitors? And what's the status quo? How are people solving that problem today? Your solution. So what is it that you're going to do? Is it a product? Is it a service? SaaS platform, what is it that you're going to be offering to solve that problem? How does it work? And then who are your customers or users, and what other stakeholders are impacted? Okay, because it doesn't have to, when you launch new businesses and ideas, it doesn't have to number of different people. And last but not least is there are always unknowns and challenges for launching any new business. And we want you to just do a rough plan of how you propose to address those challenges. Doesn't mean you have to solve them, doesn't mean you have to answer them, but we want to know how you thought through how you're going to go about trying to do that. So pretty simple. A startup tree, this is the competition page. How many of you know what startup tree is? Nobody. Okay, we're going to talk about that later, but we'll go to startup tree. You'll be able to enter using this portal. There are 3 workshops I mentioned. The next 3 Wednesday nights, you can register for them. Actually, there's a poster right over here. You can hit the QR code and register for all of the workshops through that poster. We'll talk about how you discover your ideas, how you evolve with your ideas, and how you evaluate competition. In each of those workshops, I also try to share a lot of tips and tricks covering other areas of the application, right? So if you can come to those workshops, great. They'll be here 5 to 6:30. They'll all be recorded. So if you've got class, no problem, register anyway, and then you'll get access to the recordings, right? Okay. Those are the workshops, other key resources. So we have volunteer strategies. And I won't go into this any deeper than just to tell you, we've got some great mentors. Mentoring is one of the most valuable resources you can get from trying. Take advantage of it. And the way you do that is you book those appointments on startups. I'll cover those in the workshops. You can come here and see me in the accelerator. I'm going to just sit down and talk to you more about how you hook up with mentors and get mentoring appointments, and who to be asking, like how to get the kind of help you need. We also have team mentoring events, the ESA, the Entrepreneurial Student Association. Anybody remember that? Nope. Okay. Well, you might want to think about that too. So ESA meets every Wednesday from 12 to 1 here in the accelerator, and they're going to have a special peer mentoring event. It's really low key. You come in, talk to different students in the association, present your idea, and they just give you feedback from it. All right. And then also we have an expert mentoring night where some of those mentors that I talked about that you can book on Startup Tree, they'll be doing a special Zoom session, and you'll be able to go into breakout rooms with mentors and talk to them, and again, bounce your ideas off them, get feedback from them. And then also Blackstone Launchpad, similar to the IEI, they offer resources. They're down at the Screen Center. They're a good place to also talk to. The pitch event's the 18th. I mentioned that. Register today. We'll skip that. Join the 1810. Does anybody remember the 1810 accelerator? Nobody? You are. You signed up on here? Okay. Did you get an email back? All right. What's your name? You fill out the form? Yeah. Then check. When you leave tonight, swipe your card and see if it comes up green. If it comes up green, you're in. Okay? And he's pretty, it's like check today, and everybody that's applied has been processed. The swipe is right there. You want to join here only because A, it's probably the nicest space on campus other than the library. So it's a good place to come and hang out, study, to meet other people, to talk to them about your idea, to talk to them about their ideas. We take everybody here. So this is not a box location. We're here to serve all 17 colleges and universities. So we want creatives, we want engineers, we want writers, we want everybody in here so that we can all collaborate. That's what helps to strengthen your ideas. So sign up, become a member of 8-10. Startup Tree is the platform I talked about. I'm not going to skip that. We'll get into that more. Lead Stack's another platform. And now we're here to John Taylor. Hi. So we actually should be using the microphones only because we're recording this, and they may not be able to hear the recording. Right? So for this part, let's use the microphones. Switch over with me. And I'm going to unshare the screen. So let me tell you, can you hear us? Yeah, okay. So let me tell you a little bit about Jonna. I first met Jonna in one of my classes when she was in the IME program, which is the Innovation Management Master's program here at Temple University. And she was a standout student in that class, expressed interest in her business idea that she had that she wanted to try to launch. And she and I, started talking with each other in a mentoring relationship, right? And talking about her idea and trying to give suggestions to help her improve her business and move her business along. She has gone on to be the founder and CEO of Artrise, right? And in the meantime, she also entered the Innovative Idea Competition last year. I'm going to stop there because I'm going to let her talk more about that. This is her website, okay? And as you can see, Artrise is a new art marketplace created by independent artists innovating in the art world. I'll let her talk to why she was interested in that. All right, and then what I want to do here is just come up and stop sharing so that we hopefully can record us. All right, so tell me a little bit about, again, I already talked about your affiliation to Temple, but how did you hear about the idea competition?
So a little background on me.
Yeah.
My undergrad was here as well. I started in 2009. I did mass media, and then I graduated in 2013, came back all these years later. I said, I have to get this one for entrepreneurship. I took Professor Fegley's class. When you come back for an IMI or IME masters, they're always going to push these competitions, and it's awesome. The main thing to focus on is the networking and the relationships. And this guy right here is the reason why I applied for this competition. So I didn't hear about it. What class was I in with you? With
Principles
Professor Carl. Yes.
Principles of Management and Strategy.
Yes. And in that class, that's when they started telling us about this innovation competition. I won first place. I did not expect that. I didn't think I had a shot in hell, but I did. And the way he was saying, your idea ends up being something that people are actually open to more than you sometimes, because you're like, oh, that's a long shot. Oh, I don't know how I'll do that. But applying for it and actually doing the steps to get to a level where you're like, this is feasible, this could happen. This really helps with that program. So it was from class that I learned that.
So we already talked a little bit, very briefly, just about what your idea is. How did you come to this idea? Like, what led you to that?
So I am a visual artist. Well, full-time. I work full-time, but I'm also a self-taught independent artist. Has anyone ever heard of Art Basel? No? Look up Art Basel. It's amazing. It's one of the best shows in the US for artists. But I had went to Art Basel and showed art in 2018, and I'm like, it could be so much easier. So I'm sure anyone here knows someone who knows how to draw or a creative who wants to sell their work. There's so much that we have to do. We have to do branding on the marketing part. We have to do the business aspect. We have to do all of these things. So I said, what if there was an app just for artists to sell, share, promote? And I started doing those outlines and doing the research and the templates and interviewing my friends and people who like to buy art. This website is not finished. Everything is always in progress. So that's one thing to also remember. Don't be embarrassed about where you are at the moment. But yeah, I'm an artist. So that's where this idea came from. I want to make it better for other artists. And doing each step of this program is the only way that I'm where I'm at today, to be completely honest. The mentors, the guidance, the ideas that they give you, everything.
Well, one of the things, and you can tell by just listening to Jonna talk, is that, she's passionate about it. And that's one of the things we try to encourage you, no matter what area you decide to pursue, try to pick something you're really passionate about, because being an entrepreneur is really hard. Trying to launch a business is really hard. And if you're not passionate about what you're trying to do, it's going to be a challenge. What's going to motivate you to keep going if you have no passion towards it? So we really try to encourage you to keep that in mind, and look for something that you really care about, that you're interested in, whether it's you personally, whether it's something within your family that's motivated you to pursue this particular problem to solve. But that's really important. Okay, so when you when you decided to enter the competition, where did you start? Like, what was the first thing you did?
I have an obsession, and I've had an obsession with entrepreneurship. So buy the business model canvas. I had that book before I started Temple's program. Buy the business model canvas and talk to any prospective customer of yours. So I don't know what ideas you guys have, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but if you know, if you're making a new, good God, this is bad, a new spoon. Why did I think of that? If you're making a new utensil, get as many people to test that utensil and write what they like about it, what they don't like about it, when they would use it, ask them questions, keep it very conversational. Don't let them know you're doing anything. I'm going over lessons, right? But if they if they know what you're doing, they're more likely to appease you or try to soothe your ego if it's your mom, your friend. So just interact with as many as people as possible. Get your idea out there. I am the most secretive person you will ever meet, so I hate talking to people about my ideas because I'm like, they're gonna steal it. They're gonna da 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 da. Yeah, they probably are not. Unless they're in a similar field, be careful. But other than that, they probably have no interest, and they would help you more than hinder. So buy the business model canvas book if you can, or go online. There are plenty of like templates on Google, and each of those boxes, they will just answer them for your business. And anywhere you feel shaky or like, I don't feel confident on that, research it and find the answer, or check out the startup tree or contact him to find a mentor or someone who's good in that field to help you out through the process.
So let me ask you, how many do you all have ideas that you've already got in your head, or are you all like, I don't know? So you have an idea, okay? And how about you? Okay, no, you have an idea?
Yes. Mm-hmm. But they're talented as well. Mm-hmm. Yep. I completely agree with everything you're saying. And in that sense, when I was doing my testing, something that shocked me, I'm thinking about money. As an artist, I want to make the piece, post it, I want someone to buy it. The results, I had 300 people sign up. I keep going back to this because it was only 20 days, 20 some days of me just putting on Instagram. All the people who signed up said that community was equally important to them as a new method of selling. So that's something that I haven't fully grasped yet, how important the community is. It seems like you do understand that. But whatever it is that you're helping someone, um, like you said, with the passion behind it, if you get those people to also back what you're stating and say, yeah, this is how I feel, this is how I feel, it makes the investors or the people rating it and looking at it say, well, she already has a base of people who are there to support her. Me going through this process, I didn't realize how important it was to build my community over my idea. If you build your community, they will never leave you, regardless of what you do. You have a little, not a cult following, but people, if they love you, they love you. Versus if your idea changes, they'll come or go. So the community you're building is that's awesome.
Yeah, and one of the benefits, I mean, just look what just happened, right? So one of the benefits of being here, being in the accelerator space, becoming a member, is in talking to people, you find other people that have common interests. And one of the things that I think Jonna would tell you is one of the most difficult things for any entrepreneur is finding a partner.
Good God.
Right?
Yes.
And so, coming here is a great way to talk to people that are like-minded, that have the same passion, and not just the same passion for what you're passionate about, but the same level of passion, right? And potentially finding a co-founder, find somebody else to work on your business. And by the way, it's also, I've seen it happen in here where people had similar ideas, and over time they merged. Because they said, you know what, I've got this part figured out. You've got that part figured out. Let's work together. Let's see if we can bring our ideas together. And then they formed a team and they launched that way.
So that's another possibility, right?
And something you're blessed to have is in person. I had a few classes on campus with the idea in mind. And then COVID hit. So everything was online. And I was like, okay, you have to, it was just too much. I'm an in-person type of person. So when you're meeting people, you can get their vibe. You can see if you align with them, if there's someone you want to work with. By the grace of God, I just found a woman who I actually vibe with, and we're trying to, but network as much as you can while on campus.
So you've already covered a lot in the area of like resources that the II offers. You know, we have specific workshops that we do for this program and for all the competitions throughout the year. We always do a series of workshops to help you prepare for the competition and to get your application together. Are there any other resources you can think of that maybe we didn't cover?
You covered it lightly, but please take advantage of Startup Tree, especially you in your junior year. The resources on there, the meetings that you can have with people you'd never be able to reach otherwise, and the people that they could possibly connect you to, the information they give you. Startup Tree, he knows I'm not active as I should be, but if I could, I can still do it. You still have an account regardless of if you graduate, but take advantage of it while it's actually happening and applicable. So like prepping for this submission, do they have an account on Startup Tree? They have to make one now? Yeah,
You
just
can join
start
and it's
searching
free.
around, and schedule a meeting and see what they think of your idea as well. In whatever field you have a niche or a concept of. Thank you so much for coming.
Yep.
Thank
I hope
you.
you can make it to come to the beginning of the workshop, even if you can only make it to the beginning and then, all right?
Have a good one. But yeah, Startup Tree.
Yeah. So what was the hardest part about submitting? I know it's been a little while since you were in this last year. It's been a year, but what do you think was the hardest part about submitting for this?
Time management. Yes, awesome.
All right,
Have a
good
good
luck.
one. And your purse is on the ground. Time management is so crucial. Like I know everyone has a crazy schedule and you look at it and you're like, oh, I just have to answer that and I just have to do that paragraph. It's nothing. But once you're actually doing it, always like multiply that by 2 of the time you'll need to submit it. You want to be proud of what you're submitting. You don't want to throw it out there like, maybe. You want to go in there. I know that I've got this one. So giving yourself a little leeway. Me personally, financials is always terrible. That was a terrible joke. I played myself. I went on Fiverr and I paid someone to do my financials. They don't mind as long as you're honest. But the financials were terrible. And I thought that they would be better because I paid someone, whereas I feel like they would have, me trying to do it myself probably would have been better than wasting $300+ on him just doing a little.
Yeah.
So don't, yeah.
Yeah, now I want to stress something, and that's it for the idea competition. You don't have to do financials.
No.
Nope.
And that was the be your own.
That was to be your own boss ball. All right. So for the idea competition, that's okay. But for the idea competition, it's about the idea. It's about how good is it? How well thought through is it? Have you tested the idea? Have you talked to your prospective customers or users? You know, have you validated that they really think that this is the same important problem that you think it is that needs to be solved? That's really more important. Financials we don't really get to until the Be Your Own Boss Bowl competition, and that's because that competition is focused on taking your idea and figuring out how to turn it into a viable business. So for the idea competition, it can be a for-profit idea, it can be a not-for-profit idea, right? It can be a social impact venture, so something that's focused on generating social impact or environmental impact, right? So don't worry about having to address financials at this stage.
I didn't mean to scare you.
No, that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that 4-minute video, don't play. Try to get that done ahead of time. If you wait until,
Well, that's another thing they don't have to do this year because they're going to pitch it live.
That would have been a blessing. You're fine. Everything is fine. Just submit. You'll be fine.
So there were some people last year that were like, good, I only have to do a video. And then there are people that are like, oh my God, I can't do the video. They'd rather stand up and do it live and in person. All right. So it
Yes.
just depends. But again, you got to practice it, because if you're going to be serious and at some point be an entrepreneur and be out pitching, not just for investors, but pitching to customers, right? And there's two different kinds of pitches. But if you're going to be out doing that, you got to get used to being up in front of people and talking. So, it's good practice.
Yep.
All right. So a general question is just, so what did you learn from this whole process of being part of the idea competition? And I know, and you've been in a bunch of different competitions, if you can kind of parse them and figure out. But what were some of the big takeaways from participating in the idea competition?
For the idea competition specifically, the biggest part was don't doubt myself. Like I'm an idea person. That's why I tell everyone, like, I can give you a million ideas, but how it's going to happen, I don't know. So this is where that helped. And I didn't think out of the whole school that I would win. I was humbled and blessed, and I felt great. It gave me some confidence. I said, okay, next step. But before that, it was kind of like long shot. So just have some confidence in yourself and your idea more than, what is that quote? Oh God. You know how they say people who shouldn't have all the confidence in the world have all the confidence in the world, and then the people who have little to none doubt. Believe in yourself regardless of who you are. Just believe in yourself and your idea 1,000, and take advantage of your network. And I don't do it enough, and that's why I keep stressing this. The information that they'll give you, or maybe you should think about, those startup meetings really helped me. Because I was dead set on one type of model, or this is how the financials should go because X, Y, and Z. But if you get someone else's perspective, you're like, oh, okay, I wanted my platform to be open to any and everybody. But that also allows people who draw stick figures and calls them art to make an account. So a lot of people also tell me, think about the onboarding process, think about this process. So just be open to all opinions. You can discard it later, but definitely write it down and think about it, and use your network and have confidence in yourself.
So, Jonna, after the idea competition, you were the winner in your track, and I know that motivated you to go on to the Be Your Own Boss Bowl. What was your Be Your Own Boss Bowl experience like?
Ooh.
Sure, because okay.
It was hard. I work full time, and I was doing the grad program, and I don't have any team. So it was like, it felt like me against the world, just because my time management was terrible and I had no one to bounce back and forth with. So that's why I keep stressing time management. If I would have plotted out when, it would have been way less stressful. Have this done by X date and actually have it done by that date, instead of waiting until like a week or a few days before submission to go over everything. Like, I lost the Be Your Own Boss Bowl. I didn't even place, but I don't know whether that's because of my time management. I think the ideas that did win were awesome, but I feel like if I would have gone in with more preparedness, I wouldn't have questioned myself as to why. Yeah.
Now, the reason I asked you for that is because I think this part of her story is really important for most people. And that's that. So as she said, she didn't make it into the finals for the Be Your Own Boss Bowl, but she scored very highly and she didn't miss it by much, I can tell you.
Thank you.
And one of the things we also do here at the IEI is we run a business accelerator program called Startup Studio. And Startup Studio is primarily for the finalists of the Be Your Own Boss Bowl, but we also invite other high potential teams in. And so Jonna was one of the teams, again, had scored very high, but didn't make the finals, but she'd worked so hard going from the idea competition into the Be Your Own Boss Bowl that we invited her to come into the Startup Studio program. And so she participated in that. It goes 9 weeks during the summer, 2 nights a week. We bring in special guest speakers, we do workshops and working sessions where all of the teams work and help each other develop and work on their businesses, right? So what was that experience like?
Invaluable information. It was an awesome experience. The one thing that people liked and disliked was that they're different levels. So I was going in, I was at idea stage. I'm building from idea stage. Some people are already running. and mixing with those people who were running and where I'm at, it gave you perspective. It gave their insight on how they get to where they are step by step. So just being able to interact with everybody and whatever level they are, that was awesome. The time commitment was hard, but you don't want to miss those time commitments because if you do, you'll feel behind. They have homework assignments. Look, my homework was not up to par on some weeks, period. But they teach you these habits. So they had us doing these journals, and journals are even helpful. Journals are helpful for your everyday life, but for business specifically, it helps you track where you're hitting your mark, where you're not hitting your mark, just writing your thoughts down to yourself. So that was the best homework for me out of that. But again, my biggest thing was losing the Be Your Own Boss role and graduating. I said, wow, it's over for me. What am I going to do now? I have to scramble and scrimmage. But instead of that, it gave me another place to explore my idea and keep growing. And then from there, I got invited to Drexel's program that I'm in currently. And from there and doing things with the Be Your Own Boss role and trying to get that, I got put into Cornell's Women in Entrepreneurship program that I'm in right now. So the reason I keep stressing network, regardless of any question he asked me, it kind of goes back to this. Push your idea no matter what's happening, because you will meet someone who knows someone who has the key to this or that, whether it's information or program or funding or anything. It's awesome program.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I think her story is great because it's a good example of how you get started in this, and even if with just a little bit of success, it just keeps building, and you just keep looking for other programs, other opportunities to learn, other opportunities to interact with people. I love how she keeps bringing up networking, because that is really a big part of being an entrepreneur. So let me stop for a minute and let's see what questions do you guys have.
And this is my last piece of advice. I'm sorry. Whatever funds you get, put it back into your business. Anything else looks faulty. So go on. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Here, I'm gonna put you on the mic.
Okay, so you mentioned networking at least 1,000 times, and I feel as though every business related, whether professor, major, whoever, I feel like that's always the thing, network. You hear about networking all the time. So the question that I have is, aside from me saying, hi, nice to meet you, I'm at your program, like how else do you go about networking? How else do you align yourself with people, with the right people and the places that you want to be?
Well, okay, two things. What is your love? What do you do? What is your passion?
That's such a hard question for me to answer. That's something that I definitely have been trying to figure out, especially I'm in a class. That's how I found out about this event. I'm in a class where they ask that question, and that's kind of the focus of all the work. Like, what's your passions and what are you interested in? Creativity and organizational innovation.
0827, right? Or 3501. 0827.
I think so.
I used to teach that.
Really?
Yeah, I used to teach that for 6 years.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is hard to figure out. Like, so what is it I really love?
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of other ways to come at that. If I can jump in a
Yeah,
second.
sure.
So there's lots of other ways to come at that. So one of the ways to come at that is maybe don't think of it in terms of what are you passionate about personally. Think of it in terms of what are the kinds of problems you're seeing in the world that you'd like to be part of helping to solve?
Right.
Or do you have a particular group of people that you really care deeply about, and then look to see what issues they're facing, and then try to figure out if you could come up with a better way to solve the problems that they're facing, right? So maybe you're concerned, maybe you've got a beloved, grandparent that you see struggling, and if you care deeply about them and they've been part of your life, and you just like to figure out, well, maybe there's a way I can make their lives easier. That's your passion. That could be a passion, right? And then you could start thinking about, well, what are the things they're struggling with? And then brainstorm ideas that, might help them in the process. And John mentioned this, is testing your idea, bouncing it off other people, and then testing to see. One of the big issues people come up with ideas to solve a problem because they personally see a problem, but they never bother going out and asking anybody else. And that's actually pothole to step in, because you want to spend all this time and energy. And by the way, as you get further along, money, right? You want to make sure you're spending it on something that's worthwhile that other people are going to be just excited about if you are. If you're solving a problem that nobody cares about, guess what? Nobody's going to buy your solution.
Right.
It could be the best thing ever. Nobody will want it. So I don't know if that helps you at all.
It does a lot.
Sometimes don't look necessarily inward. That's scary.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes look outward. Look at the other people you might be caring about something.
Right. That actually helps a lot, especially being in the class. It's been really hard for me to try to get done certain assignments and not being able to answer the major questions. So that does help me a lot.
To answer, the reason I asked you is because you said, how do you network with people, or how do you take it beyond the initial? I'm an artist. I'm surrounded in communities with artists. So I'm naturally networking with them. That's my group that I'm studying, that I'm with, that I'm this. Like I told him already, my weakness is financials. Good God. So if I meet someone and their strength is that financials, and there's a good rapport, even if it isn't, if you're on startups, you just email them like, hey, da 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 da. But to keep it going, what did Calabrese say? He said, treat it like dating, right? So if you like the person when you meet them and they have good information, you don't want to jump on them, but try to keep yourself in their mind. So maybe once a month or 2 months, maybe that's even too long, but check in with them to give them a status update on what's happening with you. Or my connection is at Mural Arts Program. And one of my advisors or mentors told me, keep her at bay until you're ready to pick up that connection again. So it's maneuvering with people and trying to, if I like this guy, right? I'm going to call him. I'm going to email him when I want to bug him, whatever. But that's over time that I've built that with him. Now, someone else you meet, if you want to keep that rapport, ease into it, because you don't want to be a nag, but you also don't want to be forgotten. And you want to make sure that they know that you're there for a good reason, not just because of who they are, what they might provide you, but that you genuinely want to make whatever you want to make happen.
Hi, welcome to the program. This is Jonna Shreves-Taylor. She's our guest speaker for tonight. And because she's a past winner of the idea competition, we invited her back to talk a little bit about her experience and for her to share some of her tips and tricks. If you're interested in entering the competition, maybe that would be a help. So are you thinking about entering? Sure. Okay.
How about you? Got you. Are you working on an idea? You have something in mind, or you? Okay. Focus on one for the competition. Yeah.
Well, one of the workshops, the second workshop that we do is called Evolving Your Idea. And I'm not sure if it's the first workshop or the second one, but one of them we talk about how you evaluate which idea to work on. Okay, because oftentimes people either don't have any idea at all, and that's okay, because this, hopefully the first workshop, Discovering Your Idea, will help people find what to work on, right? The second part of that, though, is some people have too many ideas, right? They have 15 ideas. I've had students come to me saying, I have 15 ideas. Which one should I work on? And I'm like, I don't know, but I can help you figure that out, right? And so there's a process you go through to evaluate your ideas to figure out which one is probably the highest potential. And then after you've done that, then the second workshop is evolving your ideas. So how do you take that core idea and through interacting with your prospective customers or users, trying to figure out how do you add value? How do you boost the value of that idea to make it really powerful? So back to what I was saying about why would you spend your time and money developing a product or a solution to solve a problem that nobody really cares about, right? So you need to make sure that you're testing the waters, that whatever it is you pick is something people really care about, okay? And again, in the workshops, we're going to talk about the difference between, aspirin or Excedrin and vitamins. Are you trying to solve a problem that's a migraine, or are you trying to just boost your health through vitamins, okay? So anyway, if you have some ideas, that's great. One of the things we'll probably ask you to do as well is to kind of take those ideas and put them on the shelf for a week or so that you can get a little bit of the process under your belt. And then that'll help you to decide which one to go after as well. Questions? Any other questions? No? Anything else I can tell you about the competition? And by the way, if it's okay if you're not, hey, I don't want to be part of the competition. I would still encourage you to register for it. You don't have to enter it, but register for it, because you'll be on the mailing list. You'll know of all the upcoming workshops. You'll get access to resources that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. So we'll be recording all the workshops. If you can't make it to the ones, like we had some students here that had to leave because they have class. So I said, register. And then the next couple of weeks, as we do these workshops, come for the first 15, 20 minutes and then watch the recordings. And you'll be able to do that. But it will get you access to a lot of different things within the IEI program and the 1810 Accelerator. And then you can take advantage of them over time, right? Enough about the commercial pitch. Any other questions for Jonna?
Don't feel pressured to ask me a question, trust me.
No. Any last tips you have? I mean, any other tips you have for them?
The biggest one I sound like a parrot. I keep saying it, network, but buy the business model canvas book. I don't know what funds look like. Definitely buy the business model canvas book. It'll help you go through the process. If there's a part of your business model or something you don't fully understand, it breaks it down very well.
Let me ask you this, because you had the book and we went over that in class, even parts of that. So they also have access to LeanStack. All right. So LeanStack has the Lean Canvas in it, which is really similar to the business model canvas. Do you think that would be a good place for them to also start instead of, they could buy the book, but they also could just go to LeanStack.
LeanStack, if you have access, it's a good place to go, and you can see the same model or how it's mapped out. At the end of the day, it is the same thing. The reason I keep pushing the book is because you don't have to keep researching, well, what does that mean? Or what is a multi-segment, whatever you don't know is right there, whatever section. So from customer segments to customer relationships to and it all transfers back over. So if LeanStack is where you have immediate access and comfortability, definitely plug in on that, and it keeps your progress going for you. Did we lose access?
No, I sent a message out in Slack the other day about that.
I need to get active on Slack again. So what LeanStack is, basically you're plugging in all your stuff and you can update it based on your testing, new findings, Someone says you should change this. It's just something to keep your business model and where you're at in front of you, basically. So
yeah, if you want, when John is finished, if you want, I'm happy to stay and go a little deeper about LeanStack. I could even pull it up and show you a little bit about what it is and how it works. But in essence, in short, because I skipped it at the beginning and you guys weren't here to hear that anyway, but one of the, there's two platforms that we have here that we offer at the IEI. They're both free and they are fantastic resources. One of them is Startup Tree, which Jonna has plugged a lot. Thank you. And the other one is a platform called Lean Stack. And Lean Stack it's a self-paced curriculum that you go through at your own pace. You can go as fast or slow as you want. And it's really simple. It's a collection of short articles and videos. And you watch them. So you might read an article, takes you 2 minutes, and then you watch a video that takes 6 minutes. And then there's another little article and then another video. And at the end of all that module, they might give you an exercise to do. All right. And one of the first exercises is to complete this lean canvas. And when you go to the lean canvas on the platform, it's this worksheet, but up in the corner of all of the blocks, there's 9 blocks. In the corner of each of the blocks, there's a little video camera, and you click it, and it'll play a video for you that explains what that block is about and how you should think about it and how you should fill it out. So it's really simple. All right. And these are the tools that you would learn. So the Lean Canvas is a tool that you'd learn in the Lean Startup class or course that we teach here, right? And so you have access to that software. As I said, it's free. The first 2 playbooks in there are all free. If you've worked your way through those playbooks and you've done the exercises and you're really making good progress, you come to me, and if you're ready, I'll give you access to the next 2 playbooks, which, by the way, are not free, but we pay for that for you. So if you're interested and you're doing the work and you're making progress, we'll pick up the cost so that you can continue on that platform. And just so it's specifically designed for early stage ideas. So it's perfect for right now where you are, to help you get your mindset about how to approach the problem you're solving or trying to solve, and how you test that idea. All right. But just so that you know how valuable that tool is, that's also one of the core programs we use in the 9-week business accelerator. So even advanced teams get value out of that when they move on to those next 2 modules. So, so yeah, I have the business model generation book as well. It is a great book. I'm not downplaying that, but you might find using Lean Stack and using the Lean Canvas, which is very similar, you might find that might be even easier. All right, just depends which you prefer. Yeah.
So, okay, listen, it should be a straight answer, right? I designed a software for visual artists, but it ended up turning to be an app. And it got patented as a gaming system. So it's like all over the place, but at the end of the day, it's a gamified selling process for artists. So yes. Yeah. Thank you. No, it's fine. What is your major? Got you. Okay. Wow. No, that sounds heavy to me. It sounds like you're doing serious work just hearing your major. That's awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yo. Yeah, you're doing serious things. I love that. I love that. Yeah, but if I had one thing to leave off, it would be focus on your relationships and your faith. Because having your own faith, like, not to even be out there, but when you lose faith, if you don't have the passion in it, you're gonna quit. I was ready to quit a million times, and I love this thing. So just have faith that the people that you're supposed to meet will come, and just keep pushing, because they will come. You just, like when I say beyond a doubt, that's the main thing. You can't do anything alone, and I'm that person. Like, I like to be left alone. I like to try to do it alone. You're not gonna, in a bubble, you can do nothing. So the more people, the more you push, the more you will see results and manifest of your vision.
And go ahead.
The library.
So the Temple Library has a subsection in it, which is the Temple Business Library. And you want to talk to Adam Shambaugh over there. He is fantastic. Adam typically will do a workshop, at least one workshop for us every year on how to do your market research and all of the tools available for you to do your market research. And while you might think, oh yeah, I can Google it, I know how to Google it and all. Well, guess what? As you advance your idea, that research needs to become much more sophisticated and much deeper, because investors are going to ask questions. They're going to ask tough questions. So he is an invaluable resource. If you are a Temple student, you will have direct access into a lot of the databases and all that you'll use to pull that research out. If you are an alumni and not in a graduate program, it's only a little bit harder, okay? Because alumni do not have direct access to some of those databases. And so Adam graciously has extended the offer, like, send your people to me. If they can't get access to it, I'll work with them. I'll run all the searches and get the data and provide it to them. So he's key. He's the guy you want to talk to.
Email is adams@temple.edu.
Thank you.
No, just Adam S. Adams@temple.edu.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And as I said, he usually comes in and does at least one workshop a year for us. And it's great. It's great. It's just unbelievable, the resources they have over there. And another great resource for you, it isn't here at Temple, but it's still really valuable, is down at the Philadelphia Free Public Library. There's an organization called BRIC, BRIC. And BRIC is the Business Resource Information Center of the Philadelphia Free Public Library. It's like they have their own group of Adams, okay? They have a group of people down there that will help you do research. They also have some other great programs. So they have meeting rooms down there that you can sign up for if you wanted to have meetings with your team, although you can do that here in the accelerator space, right? They also do free headshot pictures down there, I think once every couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, for like if you want to create a LinkedIn account, you can go down there and get free headshots, and they'll do that for you. There's lots of cool stuff they do down there.
Oh, and take advantage of the SBDC.
Yeah, and thank you. Yeah, and so there's also the Temple SBDC. Are you familiar with that? So I'll tell you a little bit about that, but there's a caveat. So the Temple SBDC is the Small Business Development Center. It's part of the SBA, which is the Small Business Association, which is a federal government program. All right. So SBDC centers are co-located in universities around the country. All right. They're always co-located into a university setting. So Temple's lucky enough to be really the only SBD center in the city of Philadelphia. The only other one in this area is down at Westchester College or Westchester University. All right. Now, their offices are about two blocks off campus, but I don't know if they're open or not right now. So they might still be doing everything online. But you sign up with them. They will assign you a consultant, a business consultant, to sit with you to learn what it is you're trying to accomplish, listen to what your business idea is, or if you have a business that's up and running. And then they'll work with you on an ongoing basis. But they have also great resources. So, for example, they have students that come from the Beasley Law School over to the SBDC, and they work in the SBDC and provide free legal services. So you can go there, and for example, if you got an idea for your company and you're thinking, I really want to go forward with this, and you want to incorporate as an LLC, you can go to the SBDC, sign up, and they'll actually go online with you and help you register your business in the database, get you your EIN, register in the state of Pennsylvania or wherever it is you want to register to start your business. So there's, it's a great place to go. Now, here's what I will tell you. Here's the caveat, as I said. So if you're in that stage of like, I have all these ideas and I don't know which one to pick, don't go there, because they're not going to sit and take the time to help you through that journey. They're there to deal with serious people wanting to launch a business. Okay. If you're at that stage, you want to be here. That's what the IEI is for. Okay. And 1810 accelerators. You know, we're here for that early stage to help you discover and help you and push you to get you to the point where you can go over there. Right. So that's the caveat. I mean, they're happy to help you, and there's certain things that they really are better at than us even. All right. We're more focused on raising investor capital. Okay. And they are definitely better than us when it comes to debt financing. Like if you don't want investor capital, but you're thinking I'm going to bootstrap this and get some business loans, they're the people to talk to. Good idea. Thank you for that.
For you, the deadline is October 1st. And what else about?
Well, it isn't the deadline for entering is October 20th. The portal to be able to start entering your submission is open. It opens on October 1st.
Thanks.
I will, when we're done, I'll go back through all the slides for you so you can see that, right? Anything else for Jonna? Yeah.
So, not to cut you off, but what do you love and what is something that you struggle with?
Well, let me say this. So not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Again, this community that we're trying to build here, it's not everybody that you see in here is not all starting a business. Okay, that's not what it's about. Some people want to just be part of that ecosystem. They want to be part of that community. They don't have a big idea, right? They're not passionate about, oh, I really want to solve this problem, but they're passionate about being part of a startup, and they want to. And you know, people look at that. A lot of smart people look at that and say, hey, that's a great way to learn a whole lot about a business really fast. Because if you're a marketing major, and I don't know if anybody is, and no offense if you are, but you know, a marketing major, an accounting major, whatever, you're learning a lot about that discipline. And you're learning a little bit about some other areas of business, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you gotta be good at a lot of things. And so it forces you. So maybe you don't have the big idea. Maybe you don't want to start your own business. I've talked to plenty of students in the center here who are in that boat, and they just tell me, like, I would just love to find a team that I could join, and I just want to be part of that team, and I want to learn as much as I can, and maybe someday I'll start my business, but I'm not ready to do it now. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing to know about yourself.
What are you skilled in? What is your major?
Yeah.
Okay, you're here. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is, and you know, a lot of the people in the IME program, okay, are not looking to become entrepreneurs, but they want to become intrapreneurs, right? So they don't want to start a new business. They want to drive change within the corporate world. They want to take things that are out there and try to make them better and come up with innovative ways to push companies forward, right? And that's also part of the skill set you learn in the IME program, right?
I feel like, so I was going to say startup tree, if you make a profile and people who are looking for talent or people to come on to their or to their team to help them grow. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but I think it would be dope if there was like a list compiled of students like herself who want to be involved, but don't necessarily, because then you can pair them with startups that are happening that need that help just within. Yeah.
Yeah, so on Startup Tree, there's a section called forums. And within the forums, there's all these different groups that you can join, all right? And, you know, they have the group for women entrepreneurs, the group for alumni founders, the group for hackers, creatives. There's the meetup group. There's the partner up group. So one of the things I'd encourage you to do is go in and join a bunch of groups and then get active. Post something up there like, hey, I'm looking to talk to other people that want to just kick around ideas, or I'm looking to talk to people about what they're passionate about, and just start making connections. All right. Come in here. We're gonna try to be running some networking events in here, and hopefully you can come in here and meet people that way as well.